Second in line video when it comes to RAIJINTEK CPU tower coolers. Today we're going to talk about RAIJINTEK Leto RGB CPU air cooler. Now, if you notice the wallpaper behind me, it has three different versions. You have the Leto RGB, you have the Leto Pro RGB, and you have the Leto Black Pro, well, Leto Pro Black RGB with, which actually has the black fins on the radiator. Well, basically looking at this one also has, but the Pro version goes with two fans. This one is just a single fan on front doing a push combination on the fan. When it comes to compatibility, it goes to all the sockets from Intel, from 775 to 2066, and when it comes to AMD, from FM2 Plus to AM4 without any single problem. The box is standard, nothing too particular, just, you know, this is it. But let's go into details and open the box and check out what we got inside, except for the cooler. We have the fan already attached, the same thing we did with the Maya RBW, but here we have loads of cables, only two actually. The fan is basically standard 12mm, 120mm fan, and he is actually the RGB part. You don't have it like on Maya RBW that the whole radiator shines up, well, the top of the radiator shines up. Here it's just completely black, because actually I like it like this more, just because it gives better looks. It's not that silverish design, even maybe if you're going with a complete design on the case with silver, then okay, I understand completely, but when it comes to this, it's quite alright just as it is. It has the 4-pin 12 volts connector for the RGB, and it has 4-pin PWM connector for controlling the fan here on the radiator. Next to that, we don't need this. We have the instruction manual, which actually has the same mounting mechanism as the Maya RBW, so there's no basically difference when it comes to that. The best thing about it, they designed the radiator in the way where you could basically add another RAIJINTEK fan right on the backside of the radiator. So if you want to make a push-pull combination out of it, why not? You could just buy another radiator. Let me just check it, not the radiator, fan, and let me just check if they acquired the, no, unfortunately no, you don't get the locking mechanism for the fan here, as I can see. So basically you would have to manage something with the locking mechanism. It would be really cool to have it right here, so if you decide to just add another fan right here, you could do it. But okay, we're going to test it on my 7820X Intel Core processor. Since it's a bit stronger CPU, I would say that it has 8 core 16 threads, but it's not like standard gaming CPU. We're going to get most likely some higher temperatures, but let's not go into that discussion before we test it, right? So we have the mechanism, the back plate, the front plate, we have the locking mechanism. Let me just check how they call it. It's supposed to be called a crossbar. Okay, the crossbar that holds the whole cooler to the locking mechanism, and of course you have the screws and the threads that actually make that happen. Here we have the thermal paste that you get for the RAIJINTEK Leto RGB CPU tower cooler, and that's all there is to it. So let's attach it to the PC and check out the temperatures on the CPU in full load and while gaming, of course. Okay, so we placed the RAIJINTEK Leto RGB CPU tower cooler inside my build with the Intel Core i7-7820X, and I would like to say that this is a budget cooler. It will cool the i7 processor, the X299 socket. Well, not socket, the CPU. It will cool the CPU only while you're gaming and not in full load. It's not that it won't do the job, but for instance, I was rendering a video yesterday and the temperature went from 60 to 78 depending on the usage on the processor. So when the load was a bit higher, the temperature went to 78. I stress tested for 1 minute, only 1 minute. Full load on this extreme processor, the temperature went up to 82, and I didn't want to push it harder because I think the temperature would go even further. And here is the reason why. So it has 4 pieces, heat pipes, 4 heat pipes, 6 millimeters diameter, and I would say this is a budget CPU tower cooler just to replace your stock cooler that you get with your processor, and it will do a definitely better job. But for extreme processors, even though you could place it on, I wouldn't risk it. It's not that it's bad, it's just for a budget, as a budget cooler for our lower grade CPUs. So if you're aiming for a budget CPU tower cooler that has an RGB, I would definitely recommend it. But going with the stronger CPUs, you would risk high temperatures, and definitely even with 3 intake and 3 outtake fans, it still gets high temperatures. So guys, basically, yeah. While gaming, as I said, gaming keeps the temperature steady, but not above 40-50 load, or 40-50% load on the CPU. I did play a couple of hours yesterday and trying to stress test it under different loads. So as I said, full load constantly is critical. Avoid those kind of stuff on extreme processors. If you're going with some, I don't know, for instance, AM4 socket Ryzen 536, it would keep it cool really nicely. If you go with Intel Core, I don't know, i5-9600K, it would cool it nicely. But if you go with extreme processors, of course you'll get a stronger CPU tower cooler like Maya RBW, which has a bigger heatsink without a doubt, and which kind of dissipates heat more effectively without any issues. So yeah guys, if you're aiming for a budget CPU tower cooler with RGB, Leto RGB is your pick. You could even go with Leto Pro RGB, but it's up to you if you want to have 2 fans, single fan, whatever you wish, or if you're going with something different. One more thing I do have to mention, the height of the CPU tower cooler is 155 millimeters. So if you're thinking of going with a not so wide case and you're considering, oh well, will I have enough space from CPU to tempered glass or plexiglass, it's 155 from the CPU to the border to the side panel, so that is quite alright. So guys, yeah, this is it. If you're interested in a budget CPU tower cooler from RAIJINTEK Leto RGB, and I'll place the Leto Pro RGB as well in the description to check it out, well, that's it. Check the prices below in the links that I placed in the description, and well, basically that's all there is to it. See you next time in the new video. Bye bye.